Hello and welcome to another episode of Phoning It In. I am Michael Carvelli, joined as always by John Terry, who's
What up?
bundled up nicely in a hotel room in Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio.
That's right. Where are we staying? What are we
We're to Marriott this time
of
around.
course. Always Marriott? Is that how it always works?
No, just depends.
I wasn't sure if like the team federation, whatever, had like a deal.
No, we do not. We kind of bump around, man. But this one's good. It's up near Ohio State's campus.
There you go.
A rock's throw from the Ohio Stadium or Ohio Stadium.
A jump.
I'm just assuming it's called the. Yeah, man. It's good to be back in Columbus.
Yeah. I was say, when was the last time you guys did a game there?
October 13th, 2021 against Costa Rica. So
That's right. Okay. Man.
yeah, well,
Is it starting to feel, is it getting to a point where like you'll see people in the stadium and like you guys will recognize each other and
oh yeah, I mean like the stadium staff we work with.
yeah.
It's like, I mean, that was one of the advantages of coming back
Just
here.
like familiar.
It was they know us, we know them.
Yeah.
We're good to go. So yeah, it was snowy here when we landed, which was concerning.
Yeah.
But no, dude, the weather it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great game, good home field advantage.
Can't wait.
It'll be fun. Like, man, these are the environments. Like, you remember growing up as a kid? I don't know, you played baseball and basketball, so like weather really didn't work with those. But I remember like playing soccer and stuff. Like, I loved when it was like rainy or like cold or like snowing. Like, so much fun.
I would no. Here's the thing, like the days where it like is rainy and cold and stuff like that are the days that I have grown to thoroughly appreciate the fact that a large majority of my games that I've watched in the past 10 years have either happened on a couch or in a press box. I don't want it.
Were you at the Pinstripe game where it snowed?
Yeah, it was the worst.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, that Pinstripe Bowl game was one of the times, because you didn't cover it, right? Yeah, no. Because I think you were graduated by then. Well, you were in grad school.
It was like I had just graduated.
Yeah.
So I was already doing, like, I wasn't really working football because I was doing like op stuff.
Yeah. But we went and we were so excited because usually we were student reporters. And so usually these games, especially the big bowl games, would just like shove us in the back. And we get to Yankee Stadium and we get to the game and we look at the like press lineup of everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's snowy and gross. And we get so excited though, because we see that they had put us in the front row. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Finally, some respect for the boys.
If only you knew.
And then we get there. And of course, Yankee Stadium is an open air press box during like the coldest game I've ever attended. Maybe not. I don't know. It felt like it. And also like super snowy. And open air press box, front row, you basically miss everything the heater is spitting at you inside. You're getting all the cold air. You're getting snow like going up on your laptop. Not fun. We realized as we were like walking down the stairs of the press box and we got like past the second row where we're like still feeling the heat. And then we walk down and it suddenly just gets like freezing cold. And like,
so
oh, no.
I'm sure you'll read about this, but in Minnesota, where we go next, we have a game a week from tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be very cold, as you can imagine, Minnesota in February. Their press box is not big enough, so we actually have media sitting outside.
Nice.
We're giving them beanies, blankets, hand warmers, lap warmers,
Love
everything.
That.
So it'll be interesting.
The Pinstripe Bowl gave us a toboggan.
You got to stay warm. The little ears.
Yeah, we had that. Wore my gloves while typing and everything.
That's tough. So I did. You'll kind of appreciate this, I guess. You might not. I don't know. I cut my thumb. I did a paper cut.
I don't appreciate that. It sucks.
On Monday. It was horrible, dude. Put a Band-Aid. It was like right. See this? You see it right there?
Oh man, brutal.
Put a Band-Aid on it. How do you text with no thumb? I was like holding my phone.
Tough. You became like a 50-year-old.
Yeah. I told that. I was like, I feel like my dad.
Man, I love it. So you guys been there for a little bit. I want to know. So hold on. When did you leave?
I left on Monday.
Okay, so
Yesterday.
you did get to watch like the whole weekend of crazy. I want to talk about crazy football stuff.
Insane.
Because
I didn't watch every minute of every game, but I watched the ending of every game.
Here's what I did. I did.
And you don't really watch the NFL, so I'm actually curious about.
I never watched the NFL except for my beloved Cincinnati Bengals, with their future first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Burrow. Lifelong Bengal. I should have worn my Pac-Man jersey to record this.
God, what a missed opportunity.
It's downstairs. I can go get it. But no, what I do for the NFL so genuinely during the season, I follow how the Bengals do. I never watch. I don't really care to. I will watch if I'm like over at my mom and dad's house and I'm watching with my dad or something. That's it. I'll follow how the Bengals are doing because
can I ask why? Are you just not interested in it, or like
I just don't care as much? Yeah, okay. I've always been like way more when it comes. First off, I never played football. I never had.
Did you ever want to play football? Like, was that ever a thing for you? Like, your parents didn't let you, or like
there was I don't think it's a thing that they wouldn't let me. I think they would have let me if I wanted to.
Interesting.
I just never. It never felt like in my skill set, I guess.
So I always thought that I like wanted to play football. Not like, I don't know.
You guys didn't even have like high school football.
No, but like there were like football leagues, but like it was a non-starter with my parents. I remember very young, one of my friends played football, and Michael and I were like, "Oh yeah, we want to play," and they were like, "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen."
There was a brief time
because I think I would have been decent. I think I would have been half decent at football. Safety.
You think you'd hit?
Yeah, maybe not. The tackling thing.
I think you'd be a wonderful holder.
Punter.
You'd be a heck of a punter, honestly.
Yeah.
John Terry's a punter. You could have a punt. You're tall. Like I could see you having like a punter frame. Like,
Imagine if I turned into Pat McAfee.
Yeah, it could happen. It could have happened.
Missed opportunity, man.
There was like, I think there were probably like brief moments where like I had friends who played and I was like, oh, maybe I should play. But then I was like, I'm not like athletic. I'm not like super athletic. Like I don't,
Interesting. Okay. So
it was never a huge thing for me, but yeah. So football during the season, I will follow kind of what the Bengals are doing. Cause I am interested in, seeing if they could turn it around and that kind of stuff. I'll watch it when I'm with my dad. And then when it comes to playoffs, I will start to like follow a little more closely to how it's going on Twitter.
Okay. And
then as the game is getting closer toward the end, I'll like start to turn it on for the fourth quarter. If it's close or something like that. And that's basically how I was this weekend.
You play fantasy football at all?
Say what?
Fantasy football? Have you ever played?
I have not played in. I mean, you know how I do with fantasy sports.
Yeah, you would get totally bored. But I think it's easier to play than baseball.
I've won a few championships in fantasy football. I have not played. I have not played any fantasy sports at all since I retired from your guys' baseball league.
Wow, honored.
Yeah, that's the last time.
We gotta hang your jersey number up.
I think you should. I think the fact that I went a whole season without checking my lineup once and almost made the playoffs, or did make the playoffs. I think I did make the playoffs. I think that deserves something.
Yeah, I can't really remember that.
That's called how you draft a team.
Fair. It's also called you got lucky with no injuries.
That's called being the best.
That's debatable. But football this weekend.
But yeah, football was great this weekend. I enjoyed it.
Dude, it was nuts, man.
Because it was pretty boring the first weekend, wasn't it?
I honestly can't even remember.
Yeah. I think that kind of goes, yeah.
And like all the game, like the Packers game was like blah, but it had a fun ending.
Yeah.
But then the like the Buccaneers Rams game, that was nuts, right? Like they almost pulled a 28-3. And glad they didn't, by the way, because whatever. And then what was the first game of the Titans?
I think the Bengals were the first game, weren't they?
Okay.
No.
And the
weren't.
Bengals, yeah, they were Bengals Titans.
Were they the first game?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
How did that game end? I don't even remember watching that.
Field goal to win it.
Did they? That just never felt close to me. Maybe I don't know.
The
And then,
Bengals.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't. That was the game I watched the
McPherson
least.
hit like a 50
That's right. That's right.
yarder as time expired.
The last game of the weekend, though.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
My lord, that the Kansas City game
Yeah.
was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, all of them. I mean, you look every game. The Kansas City game is the one that like ended with the largest deficit,
Right.
like largest, win margin. Because you had the first three all end with field goals.
Wait, the Kansas City game ended with the field goal.
No, it did not. That's the only one that didn't. The first three did.
Oh, that's right. They scored a touchdown. Duh.
Yeah. Cincinnati field goal, San Francisco, and then the Rams.
So the interesting thing, and I mentioned this to you before we started recording, is I didn't watch like every minute of every game.
Right.
I like turned on the Kansas City game. I turned on with like 2:30 left, and I was like, "Oh, this game's over. Like it'll be done here in a minute." And dude, there were like 3 touchdowns.
It was so funny to because I think I was watching a movie or something. So I was like following it on like the second screen, and it just seemed like every time I would I was sitting where I am now, watching a movie on the TV here, and I had my laptop with the game up like here, and I had like my phone in my hand, and I would get like a buzz from my phone, and I'd look and see like another touchdown and another touchdown, and I'm like, holy crap, can someone play some defense?
I mean, and when Kansas City got back the ball at the end to tie it up to go into overtime, like they had no chance.
No.
The best thing was, like the ESPN score predictor, how it was just like this thing.
Yeah.
And then it was, I saw a tweet like spot the heart attack. It's like, shit, man. It was wild, but it's fun. It was fun. It was awesome.
It was a good, I think you need that. Like you need a weekend where you have like a bunch of like that alone. Obviously, like so many people are going to be excited for the Super Bowl and stuff, regardless of what's going on. But like having a bunch of games like that are all legitimately really good is such a nice thing for that to have.
Right.
I don't know.
Man,
you could have like, you could either be the NFL and coming off of like a thing like that, or be like Major League Baseball and coming off of like this weird Hall of Fame stuff that just happened. And now, I feel like it's getting to a point where like no one is going to care about that sport.
I think the NFL really needed that too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I'm
you
talking
remember because here's the difference, like NBA, NHL, MLB, those are all like series. Like they're not like you have multiple chances to win and lose. And while game 7s are great, that's fine. There's never been a time where every game has gone to a game 7.
Yeah.
So to have it go all 4 games on a weekend, the Elite
everything.
8, and everything goes down to the wire.
And literally down to the final play, pretty much. I think it is the final play.
Dude, like good stories too. Like Matt Stafford with the Rams, like beats Tom Brady and Gronk, like the top seed and the whatever. And then you have like, these young quarterbacks like Allen and Burrow and just, and then you have, the whole thing with the Packers. You have the Packers didn't draft Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is an anti-vaxxing idiot. So like literally the whole world was rooting against the Green Bay Packers, which was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
It was one of those moments we talked about on the show with the tie, like when everyone was rooting for the tie, when everyone on social media was united.
Amazing. When that happens, and because that's what it was, like you went to Twitter and you just saw everyone getting off their jokes about Aaron Rodgers, and they were all good, and they were all just like so fun to watch, and just seeing everyone, because Twitter can be such a bad place.
And most of the time it is.
And disagree, but whatever. Like seeing it come together like that was just the best time.
And the problem is we'll never have another weekend that good.
So we are going to have another good weekend here in a few weeks when future first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Burrow wins his first Super Bowl. So like who do you think, as if you had to, I obviously can't really. I'll give a guess, but I have no actual opinion on this. Who will the Bengals be facing in the Super Bowl?
God, I mean, both those teams are not great. I don't think I just realized the Rams and the 49ers.
Yeah.
In the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. Yeah, Rams, 49ers, and then Bengals and Chiefs.
I think probably the Rams.
Rams and who?
Probably the Chiefs.
Wrong. So
I want Joe Burrow.
The doubting.
But I mean, dude, think about the Rams. Either Matt Stafford or Jimmy Garoppolo is
pretty crazy.
Super Bowl.
It's pretty crazy.
And the cool story.
You say that like Garoppolo. I mean, he was just there.
But yeah, I guess. I don't know.
You can't. I guess he was like it's.
I feel like Garoppolo is just like this under. I don't know. I just feel like he's underperformed. But like
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Like
who I hope the Rams make it. I think it'd be fun. They get to play in their home stadium.
That would be that. I think that is who I am pulling for personally.
Because I want the NFC to win. Like I want the shit team to win.
No, how dare you? The rudeness of you. If I have to guess with all my expert opinion, I'm saying it's Bengals over the Rams.
Interesting. I just thought the 49ers offense looked very inept.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I haven't done any, like I haven't looked at it since. Like Deebo Samuel got hurt at the end of the game, which is like their only when you have a player that has to do running back and wide receiver, like your offense isn't great.
Tell that to the 4-8 West Virginia Mountaineers with Tavon Austin.
There you go, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's gonna be fun. I will say I will. I'm not gonna watch the whole games, but
dude, it does seem like you're into it more than you typically are.
I actually did. I think. I mean, it does. I genuinely like the bit aside, like the fact that the team that I have been a fan of since I was a little kid actually being relevant is helping me actually be excited.
You're almost. This is becoming movie level.
In what way?
You're just becoming an NFL buff.
I don't think that's true.
Well,
because I'm not gonna watch it. Like, that's the thing. Like
I watch it if it's good.
I watched the Bengals game. I actually did watch the whole game or most of the game.
Were you nervous?
No,
because you didn't really care.
Yeah, I've disconnected. It's weird. I kind of became a lot less of a fan toward the end of the Marvin Lewis era because I was just over the franchise and
the mediocrity.
Burrow has brought me back.
Dude, he's awesome, man.
Because I loved him so much at LSU.
You know, he seems like a really good dude.
Yeah.
Like he seems like, I mean, you hear the stories like he's, you know, came from nothing and he wanted to come back to Ohio to like help basically and like be a role model and like, man, he's very well spoken. Like he's just like,
oh, he's the guy. He's the type of guy you want like leading a franchise for sure.
Man, like he reminds me of like, I don't know. He kind of reminds me of Peyton Manning, honestly.
He's like I said, future first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Burrow.
Do you see the stuff about Sean Payton retiring today or whatever?
No, yeah, I saw he's got a movie coming out.
Sean Payton stepping down.
Wow,
as the Saints head coach.
Wow,
kind of wild. Anyway, this is turning into a sports podcast.
He does have a movie coming out on Netflix.
Is that the one with what's his face?
Kevin James plays Sean Payton. Looks real bad. But
I didn't know that was on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's I think it comes out Friday. I think it comes out this week. But speaking of movies that I watched that didn't suck, while I was at home this weekend / this week, I attended my second film festival ever, John.
And you didn't have to get on a train for. Oh, actually, it's your third film festival. Didn't you do like a?
Oh yeah, I did one for work or for like writing stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you're counting digital film festival as your third. I don't even know how many film festivals you've
Well,
been to.
that one I didn't have to pay for stuff. This one I'm paying for movies.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm
How did
counting
the
it as like I'm an attendant.
Can this is weird to ask on the podcast. Like what is like Sundance? Like what's like the cost figure there? Like is it cheaper than Chicago? Is it
$20 a
more
pop.
expensive? Okay. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, not bad. And I think because that's about what it was, in Chicago. And granted, that was like to do it in person. Actually, I think it was 25. Yeah, 25 for in person in Chicago.
But still, like you're seeing like new movies and
Yeah.
whatever.
And that was the thing I was telling you was like a little nerve-wracking about buying the tickets for this is because like when I bought the tickets in Chicago, I knew everything I was going to watch had been received pretty well. And I had generally heard through like reviews or people that I followed on like Twitter or Letterboxd or whatever that I was going to probably like it. Like I just got the vibe of like, this is going to be a movie I will enjoy. All the movies that I watched, I think actually the first one I watched had premiered at one festival before, but pretty much everything at this particular festival, because it's the first one of the year, it's the first time people are getting to see these movies at all.
So you're shelling out, over $100 to watch these movies and you don't even know if they're good.
$80. Thank you.
Oh, you did 4. Okay.
Yeah, 4 movies.
I was trying to make you sound like a, high roller.
Nah. But I've watched 4 movies. I actually just before we recorded this one, I finished my last one like 5 minutes before.
Perfect time.
We got on. And I would say of the 4, 3 of them I really, really liked. So that's good.
Do you think they will turn into big movies?
I think the first one I watched, which I think is the best one I watched, I think it's going to be like a big, like critical darling. And like a lot of critics will think of it as like one of the best movies of the year. But I think it won't get a lot of like award attention of any like major consequence. But it's like a sci-fi story about like death and grieving. It's very like sweet in a way, about how like it's okay. So the first one I watched was a movie called After Yang, and basically it is set in the future, in a future where like you can buy these like cyborg things to be in your home to serve as like almost like a pet, I guess. You want like they called him a sibling. It was this family who had adopted a little like Chinese kid, and they brought in this Chinese cyborg person to like help her like learn about her culture as a Chinese person, that kind of thing. And the movie is about Yang, who is the cyborg, dying, and how the family like processes like having to move on, stuff like that. It's really, really good. I'm doing a bad job of describing it because I could feel you being like very out on it. Well, but it's great.
Cyborg, I don't know.
It's great. I mean, you can't. It's not a person in like a silver suit. It's a dude.
Did you like these movies more than Chicago?
Well, Chicago, I watched my favorite movie or one of my favorite movies of the last year. So I would say, in terms of like the peaks, Chicago has it. In terms of overall, it's pretty close. I mean, yeah. The second movie I watched was a documentary that I gave like 2.5 stars. Like it wasn't great. So like I would say Chicago gets the nod over the movies at Sundance just because there was not one at Sundance that I came away being like, well, that kind of sucked.
And you like watching movies in theater too. I mean, we've talked about that.
There's also that.
Yeah. So nice.
But yeah, the one that wasn't very good was a movie called Second Chance. It was about this guy who
probably because it wasn't good enough for the first.
He invented the like the modern bulletproof vest.
Okay.
That like cops and stuff use. And kind of about him being sort of a shitty person. And like scamming a lot of people out of a lot of stuff, and the vest's like
That sounds like a really shitty documentary.
I mean, once again, I'm trying to like quickly go through everything. Like if I want to like really get into everything, I can make it sound a little better, but it's it's not worth watching.
It's a documentary about a guy who created a bulletproof
It's a
vest.
movie about a guy who sucks and is like he scams his way through a bunch of stuff. Whatever.
Will you continue to do so? A question for you
Yeah.
is obviously like at some point, hopefully soon, film festivals will be all in person again. Like it won't be this remote stuff. I imagine film festivals to some extent will still have some sort of like remote offering, even if it's only like
I
one
would
to
hope
two
they
films. Will you continue to do that, even though you
Absolutely.
like watching? Okay, you will.
I could see it getting to a point where like next year when Christmas comes around and like I've got a couple family members reach out and they're like, what do you want for Christmas? I'll be like, just give me like $20 at a time so I can have a Sundance ticket.
Nice. Okay, that's cool.
Like that kind of thing. But because I would definitely like to watch more. I didn't want to. I like intentionally only did like 4 because I didn't want to spend a ton of money.
Right. What's the biggest music festival in the world?
Music festival?
Sorry, movie festival.
This one.
It's been a day. Sundance. Okay.
I think Sundance is like the most.
And is Sundance usually in Utah? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where? Salt Lake City or Park City?
Park City.
Okay, got it.
I would say this one is probably in the US. I think it is. I think it's the one that like most people.
And there's one in France, right? That's really big.
Cannes is big in France. Venice is really big. The New York one is big. Toronto is big.
Oh, Toronto. Forgot about Toronto.
Chicago is fairly big, I think. I mean,
that's in the best city in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, the last 2 movies I saw both really good too. So I mean, and one of them will be on Amazon for sure. And I would like I would love to watch it again.
Nice. We'll have to do another watch.
It was called Emergency, and it's like Superbad meets like a thriller with like race commentary on it.
Oh,
it was really interesting. These two college students prepare for like a big party night out.
Okay.
And they're talking about it's called the Legendary Tour. And it's like a huge thing at whatever school they're at. It's basically like you hit 7 parties in one night. So they spend all day preparing for it. And it's very much like, it feels like a Superbad type comedy. They walk into their house that evening to get ready to go out. And like, you can see like people have already like started partying and stuff around them. And when they walk into their house, there is like an unconscious girl in their living room who had just like walked into their house and passed out. And these 2 young Black students were like, should we call the cops and be like, hey, or should we try to get her to a hospital ourselves? And then they go through the debate about that. And then they decide to to get her to a hospital on their own. And then the night unravels and like her friends are looking for her as well.
It's not a comedy.
It is a comedy.
Oh, okay.
But it's a comedy that also is like a like very suspenseful thriller. Like it's really good. Then I watched a movie called Cha Cha Real Smooth that was directed by a guy named Cooper Raiff, who we watched his first movie, Shithouse, last year,
which is good.
And it was really, really good. And this one was just as good, if not better. Like it was awesome. So. And that one, how Shithouse was about like a kid navigating the early years of college. This one, he has since graduated. And so the movie is about him, about a main character who is trying to navigate post-college and not knowing what he wants to do.
Can I ask a quick question really quickly? Not really about Shithouse. Do you watch Ozark?
I don't. I've watched 1 episode of it.
Okay.
People like Nick have tried to get me to watch it. And
the new season just came out.
I will say the episode I've watched, I really like.
It's good.
But I just have no. It's one I've just never fully committed into.
Have you watched Schitt's Creek?
I've watched 2 seasons.
We're trying to get into that. It's me.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
I've stopped watching Succession, by the way. I just
kind
of fell off for me.
Wow.
Righteous Gemstones, though. Are you watching this?
I haven't watched the end of the season yet.
Dude, it's
It might be
it's,
what I do now that Sundance is done and I'm not watching some of those. And
dude, it's better
once
than
my
last season.
screeners are starting to get down.
Better than last season and not even close.
Wow.
So
Sounds good.
it's good, man.
I will say, and what I have been watching, like in the night at night, like when I'm just winding down, and it has influenced other things I've done in life. I've been watching MasterChef a lot, and I've been watching other cooking related content like YouTube stuff and things like that a lot. And it's made me really want to like cook big things more.
Chef Carvelli, baby.
I love to do it. It's fun.
Have you cooked anything?
So I did a like dish the other day that was like, I guess the best way to put it would be like a fajita pasta.
Oh,
So
okay.
I cooked some like sausage, did like, the seasonings you would put for like if you're doing like fajitas, whatever. Um, put a bunch of that in it, had made like some cheese sauce and pasta, and it's good to go. It was really good.
All right, dude.
But I also just got HelloFresh for the first time.
HelloFresh. And you did that before, right?
I have done Blue Apron before.
Got it. Okay.
I have not. I've never used HelloFresh.
We, the Terry family, we are users of HelloFresh, and I've been doing so for about 3 months now.
Yeah. Did not know that. I wish I would have.
Yeah, could use that code.
Sorry.
We like it. It's good. It's like we just like I'm so busy right now, and we just have a lot going on. It's like we just need to like make sure it's a little more expensive, but it's also cheaper than ordering.
Well, it's one of those things of like, what's it gonna? I think it's gonna be like 70-ish bucks,
right?
For 3
meals. For the first few weeks, it's super cheap,
right? For the first, like right now, I think
like
the first one I did is like 25, and then it goes to like 40 for a couple weeks after that. But really, like that's 3 big meals that I don't have to go like grocery shopping for,
right? And
for me,
it's variety.
For me, it's 2 servings that you're making, so that's actually 6 meals for me, and plus it's stuff that I wouldn't be making normally. Like I can't wait for the things I got this first week. I'm pumped about it. What did I say? It was like a
It did sound good because I do the vegetarian variety.
That was what so you guys always just do that?
Yep, because she doesn't eat meat, right. And I don't know. And it's like it's not enough food for me, which is like one of my main critiques. So yeah.
This first week I got a pork chili and cheese stuffed poblano pepper.
They do a lot of poblano peppers.
Very excited about that.
Do you like poblano peppers?
I do for the most part. Okay. Yeah. I don't eat them a ton, but when I do, I like them. Some Baja chicken quesadillas with salsa, lime crema, and hot sauce. And then a 1-pot Thai coconut curry turkey soup that I cannot wait for.
Their soups are good, man.
I'm very pumped about that. And I told Nick about it, and I was like, the last time when I had Blue Apron was the last time I've tried to like cook a curry dish of any kind, and I messed it up. And so I just want I want redemption with this.
What you need to do, by the way, for the curry dish, go into your refrigerator tonight. They probably have a carton of coconut milk in there, and I don't think it needs to be refrigerated. So you should take it out of the refrigerator. So it like,
well, I don't have it yet.
Oh, you don't have it yet. Okay, good. When it shows up, make sure like it's coconut milk or something doesn't need to be refrigerated. And gotcha. We like messed up and we had to like melt it. It turned into this big thing. Okay. So just open up the bag to make sure there's nothing that doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Yeah. So that's, I just ordered it yesterday.
Got it. Okay.
It will arrive at some point like this weekend or something.
Yeah. Nice.
So pumped about it. And I can't wait.
We have ours arrive every Monday, and it's like super nice because we know coming out of the weekend, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday meals.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what I want to do. The first time for this first week, I wasn't able to pick the day.
Right.
but yeah, so I'm excited about that. And then you know, it'll
Gonna
be cool
become a
to,
chef.
it'll be cool to just do that it's fun. I like to do it.
Cooking's fun, man. Turn on
I
some
suck
music.
at, it's funny, like my sister is very good at baking. And I feel like I would be really bad at baking.
Dude, baking, you have to be like very
It's a
precise.
science. It's a
Yeah.
science.
Too much flour, it
Like
doesn't work.
cooking, you can just do kind of,
Anything.
you can go with it.
100%.
And like you don't have, like I'm going to be using recipes obviously when I make this stuff from HelloFresh. But once I make it a time or two and I'm like, oh, let's revisit that Thai, curry soup again. And I want to just be like, okay, let's actually just do like a little bit more of this now.
Yeah, like more shrimp or whatever.
Yeah,
more like
right.
more of the vegetables, no mushrooms.
Exactly. Like you can do that. If you just go off script with like brownies, you've ruined it. Like, but
100%.
very, very excited. Because really I haven't made a ton of like big, when I cook now, it's a lot of just like the same usual stuff. You know what I mean? And it's all simple stuff because I'm just cooking for myself and like whatever. But excited to get to try some other stuff. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome, man.
All right. Let's wrap this week's show up with our penultimate movie club discussion for the rom-com season. We have 2 left. John, this week you chose for us to watch the 2010, was this a hit? Comedy The Switch, starring Jason Bateman and Jennifer Aniston. Let's see how much money do you think this movie made?
Probably not. Well, actually, probably a good amount because Jennifer
I feel
Aniston,
like 2010 it probably made a bunch.
Yeah.
Because like Bateman at that point was like becoming a thing. And Aniston, obviously a big deal.
I had only watched this once or twice. But I liked it a lot. And I think maybe we've watched so many chick flicks that like you're just expected not to like them.
Yeah.
But dude, Jennifer Aniston's good in this movie. Jason Bateman is really good in this movie. I
was going to ask you how you feel about Jennifer Aniston.
I thought she was good. I thought she was good in this movie. I thought she was solid. Frustrating at times because I felt like Jason Bateman was getting a bad shake.
Yeah.
But man, like the pendulum swings, and then I thought like the ending is like the type of ending I love in these movies. The comedy was there. I don't know, just a solid movie.
It was pretty good. Here's the thing, like, and we've talked about these kind of movies before with this, like it's a perfect, it fits into like the Hitch ballpark of these movies where it's like, if this is on Comedy Central when I'm over at my parents' house and we're just like scrolling through channels looking for something to watch, you can throw this on and everyone is going to like enjoy themselves. You know what I mean? Like people are going to come away liking what they saw, which is good. You get a likable guy in Jason Bateman, who is always fun to have around. I know a lot of people like Jennifer Aniston. You're muted, so I can't hear you defend her.
I sneezed and then I was like, I'm gonna mute my smell. Yeah. You don't like her.
I don't. It's weird. I don't dislike her, but I never watch anything that she's in and be like, I need to watch more of her and stuff. Like I just always come away just being like, okay.
Interesting. And were you a Friends guy?
Not really.
Okay. I watch Friends, so like I think that's where I get it from.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched like the first 5 or 6 seasons of it, and it's fine. I get the appeal. I get it. Like, and there's stuff that she's in that she's really like. I think the best thing I've seen her in is you've watched Horrible Bosses, haven't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think she's great in that. That's like the best, or one of the best.
I don't remember Horrible Bosses, but
she's like the dentist.
Oh
yeah. Like that's where that, and like she's pretty good in Along Came Polly, which is a movie that is not great that Nick and I really like a lot.
I don't like that either.
See, I think she's fun in that. Even though like a lot of people don't like it. But yeah, other stuff, she's just kind of Jennifer Aniston, which is fine. Like it's not a bad thing.
Right.
But yeah. But I like this movie. It wasn't bad.
It's just like solid.
Yeah.
Solid
I'm
movie.
interested in where you are gonna want to place this compared to where I am gonna want to place this.
Can you pull it up, please?
I can. Let me share it here. We go. By the way, are you still in the mode at work where people don't understand how to share screens?
No, but it's the permissions.
Whew,
Like,
man,
can you give me permission to share screens?
we had a meeting today where we were preparing for some stuff and working with like people that we don't usually work with, and
Didn't
like
go well.
and people just don't understand how to share screens yet. But here we go. We've got the list pulled up if you're watching us on YouTube. But if not, we're going to run through it again. We've got 2 movies left. We're almost at the end. Number 1 right now is still The 40-Year-Old Virgin. The rest of the top 5 is Palm Springs, The Big Sick, I Love You, Man, and It's Complicated. You've Got Mail at 6, Crazy Rich Asians 7, Wedding Crashers 8, Easy A 9, Set It Up 10, 10 Things I Hate About You at 11, Always Be My Maybe, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Fever Pitch, No Strings Attached, rounding out the top 15, and then Hitch, The Proposal, 27 Dresses, and last place, Love, Wedding, Repeat.
Okay, I think I know where I want to put this.
Where are you gonna put it?
You have to say first.
It's your idea. This is your movie.
I would say it's in for me the 11 to 13 range.
Okay.
Do you think it's better than No Strings Attached?
I see. Here's the thing. I do think it's better than No Strings Attached.
Okay.
And this is where our consensus list is a little weird.
You like Hitch more.
Because I like Hitch more than this.
I like this more than Hitch, and it's not remotely close for me.
That's a bad opinion.
I do you like this more than Fever Pitch?
I do.
Okay.
I would personally,
because where I originally saw it was
I know
13.
you're anti it, so I'm gonna end up having to allow it to go in at number 13. My proposal is going to be 14.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
My proposal is going to be after 4 Weddings and a Funeral, but if you want to put it ahead of it, whatever.
No, I'm okay with it after. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it after.
Okay. I like it, man. We're almost done.
One more
to go. So that's gonna be tough. That's a good. I think it's a good spot for it. It's a solid movie. It's like I said, it's one that like I would never complain about like having it on. Like it's fine. Like I'd rather watch it over like The Proposal or stuff like that. And I think it's definitely in a similar ballpark to stuff like The Proposal, like we were talking about, where it's like 2 really fun people to watch that have pretty good chemistry together. Right. You know what I mean? Like in the case of these 2 movies, I like the lead actor in this more than the ones in The Proposal. And then I like the lead actress in The Proposal more than the one in this.
Okay. I can see that.
But yeah, we got 1 more to go.
You're excited about it.
I am thrilled. I have intentionally set this whole thing up so that I have the last week because I wanted to have us watch together a movie that you have never watched.
Never watched.
A movie that is in my like top 3 of all time. Top 3 movies, period, of all time. Of like favorites. Very excited for it. I think it is the best romantic comedy of all time. I will be kind of surprised. I'm gonna keep overhyping this to where you're gonna be like, it's kind of almost better than Always Be My Maybe or whatever bullshit you're gonna say, because this has one ding against it, according to you.
Yeah.
And that is that it came out in the year 1989.
The year I was born.
We will be watching the classic, in my opinion, the greatest romantic comedy of all time. The Rob Reiner directed movie starring Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan, When Harry Met Sally.
I'm excited for this one. I am excited for this one.
The excitement, if this thing, it is streaming on HBO Max. So if people want to watch it with us, feel free. This is one of the movies that if I had gone to suggest this week and it was off streaming services, I would be Venmoing you whatever you needed to rent it. Because I think it's that important to watch for a thing like this.
This is HBO.
HBO Max. Yeah.
Okay, HBO Max. Okay.
So it'll be there. I cannot wait to watch this again. This is a movie that I rewatch a lot.
And you want this to be number one?
I believe it will be number one, and I will fight for it to be number one.
Which would be hard because, like, through a screen.
I'll fly to Chicago or wherever the hell you are. I don't care. I'll find you. I'll walk.
You might freeze to death if you walk.
That's fine. It's worth it. But very excited. That is our I think it's going to be a perfect way to like end this thing with. I think you're going to love it. I think especially like you and Mary will watch it together and it'll be a wonderful night. It's going to be the best. I can't wait for you to watch it. I get so Friday jealous. Night. So I'm feeling this when you watch this. I'm feeling it. Nick is currently watching Seinfeld for the first time. When people watch something that I love for the first time, I get so jealous of people getting to like experience that thing for the first time. Because like I know every time when I watch When Harry Met Sally, I've watched it a bunch now. Like when we watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin, I had watched it a bunch. You never get to like see it completely fresh again. I love that. I can't wait. God,
I'm excited. I'm excited because you talked about this a lot. You've talked about this one a lot. I am very excited about this, even though it's a fucking movie.
I will fight. Every romantic comedy. Is this the oldest one we've watched? Yeah. So many romantic comedies that have come out since this movie would not exist without this movie. Can't wait.
I don't even know what it's about other than Harry meeting Sally.
They met. That's it. Some stuff happens. Do they end up together? I don't know. We'll find out. Man. But guess what we did also do?
Carrie Fisher's in it.
Carrie Fisher is in it.
Oh, okay.
We made a decision of what's next after this.
And I honestly can't remember.
You can't remember. So it's going to be a big surprise for everybody.
I do remember.
I think we're going to do it smaller in future seasons.
Maybe like.
So we can run through. I'm thinking 10 or 8.
I was thinking like 6 or 8.
I'm thinking 8's good. 4 apiece.
Okay.
So the next season of the Phoning It In Movie Club, 8 sports movies. Very excited about this. Have you you haven't because you just said you didn't know what we were doing, but anything running through your head of ones that you want us to watch?
Yes.
I have some weird blind spots with sports movies.
Miracle on Ice. It was one of my all-time favorites.
I'm glad you brought that up immediately after I talked about blind spots.
Yes.
Because that's kind of one of them. So here's the thing. I watched it on like, you know how like you would go on like a school trip or something and you would be on like a nice bus that would have a TV and it was like the biggest deal in the world when you get to be on a charter bus.
The bathroom too.
Yeah, exactly. So we watched Miracle on one of those trips. I know the story. I know what the movie's about, obviously. I remember parts of the movie. Like I remember the big Kurt Russell moment, but I never have really gotten like an actual good experience of watching that movie. So excited for that. That was one that I was considering throwing out, but I had a feeling that you might anyway.
It's my all-time favorite.
Really? All-time favorite sports movie?
Yeah.
Really?
Love it, man.
Wow. See, here's what I'm excited about is I'm probably going to throw out my all-time favorite sports movie. And I have a feeling that I will like it less because I haven't watched it in a few years.
I'd probably also Moneyball is one. Sorry, I'm looking at the list now.
I love Moneyball so much. That's a great one.
I think The Blind Side would be fun to watch just because I feel like its reputation has changed. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of things wouldn't. I don't know. I'd be interested to watch that one again.
I would. It's one that I would be interested to talk about. The one that my favorite, if I had to say right now, is Hoosiers.
Never seen Hoosiers.
And I don't know. It's one that I'm like, I haven't watched it in a few years. And it's one that I'm like worried about rewatching. Because you know that sometimes when you like don't watch a thing for a while and you're like, am I gonna actually like this as much as I think I do? Or have I just like put it in my head as like this great thing?
And it's just not.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what I'm gonna pick. You know, probably do. I do want to do. I'm gonna spoil my first one that we're doing is gonna be Little Giants, I think.
Also a good one. We've talked about that. That's good.
Because yeah, that was why I think I'm gonna do that one first. Is it anywhere? We'll see if it's anywhere. But yeah, I a lot to pick from. Obviously, actually, Little Giants isn't streaming anywhere, so we probably won't watch that.
But I own it on VHS.
I do. Yeah, I do too at my parents' house. But yeah, so that'll be what we do after we finish When Harry Met Sally. The next week, you will we'll just have you pick the first one since it's your turn anyway, and we'll just hit the ground running from there. I can't. It'll be fun. I haven't watched a lot of good sports movies in a while, so
I haven't either.
Excited. It's gonna be a very interesting one to get into. But with that, I will let you get all rested up away for work.
I gotta wake up in 8 hours.
There you go. Yeah. So definitely need to let you do that. Let's wrap this thing up. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week, and be sure to give us a subscribe on wherever you're listening to us, whether it's one of your podcast apps or on YouTube or whatever. John, where can they find us on the socials?
Yep. phoninginpodcast@gmail.com. Sorry, I ate dinner and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like multiple times. It's brutal. Or Phoning It In Pod on Twitter and Facebook.
That is right. And as always, a shout out to Miguel Silva Leon for our theme song. Check out Saving Miles Lemon on Spotify and Apple Music. And with that, that's all we have for this week. Thanks everybody for listening. We will see you next time.